The type of thing you'd see on a wagon in the Old West. Somebody rolls into town, jumps off, and tries to sell you some tonics from back in the day. That's what these wheels look like. Okay? And it's like...
He sounded like a goose. He was like...
Yeah, it sounded like we were being chased by a goose.
Yeah, motherfucker. We're gonna take it up a few notches right now. See if y'all can keep up. Wanna give a motherfucker sucker, put your hand up.
What's up, everybody, and welcome to episode 101 of the ScruffCast. I'm John.
And I'm Dan. So, like, what do we do now? Do we call them 101, 102, or do we say like 101, 102?
I had that debate as I was doing the intro, and I was like,
we're in
I'm
new
gonna
territory now.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with the more formal 101 because then it's gonna get like into the weeds. 143, right?
Yeah, I think we go like episode 101, episode 1. Oh yeah, because 143 would sound weird.
Yeah,
episode 143. Yeah, that sounds pretty stupid actually.
But like 143,
143.
Well, this is the perfect opportunity to ask the listeners. What do you guys think? What makes more sense for you? You can email us at scruffcast@gmail.com, just like none of you guys did after following up on that behemoth of a 100 episode celebration we did.
They were all just so taken aback by what a fantastic episode it was.
I'll chalk it up to the fact that it was 2 hours and 6 minutes long, our longest episode ever. So maybe you guys just, you didn't have the chance to finish it all in 1 week. I know you don't have your, regular commutes anymore. Not really driving into the office or taking the train or what have you, but you can just play it in the background, right? If somebody happens to walk by, your window's open, they might call the cops on you and be like, oh, those people having a party, even with the Rona going on. So, no, they're just listening to the hit podcast, the ScruffCast with Jon and Dan.
Boom. So, speaking of last week's episode,
yes,
I have a correction that needs to be made. So when Taryn was on and we did the trivia, you got a phantom point. I was counting along.
I saw this here.
So really, you ended with 5.5. I ended with 6.5.
But wasn't it better when we tied?
No, I like to win.
But where did the phantom point come from? We just miscalculated, added up a point? Of course.
You got to talk to Taryn, man. I don't know.
I saw this in the notes and I didn't bother to go and listen back.
You should have checked it. There's a phantom point in there, I'm telling you. You were at 3.5, I was at 5.5, and then all of a sudden you're also at 5.5 once you got one right.
Maybe it was
That's why when we're recording it, I was like, oh no, I've won already in the last question because I was like 1.5 up on you or something like that.
I will say, though, the questions were definitely rigged in your favor. Taryn was out to get me. It was like,
they were.
I had an example of one of the questions. It was like one that you had, and I had a similar one, but it was much harder.
Dude, like the Shrek one.
The Shrek one. Come on.
That one's hard. Yeah, that's a hard one.
Right? That was a tough one. I don't remember. I don't even remember the questions, but she was out to get me with some of those. It's like, put all of the Shrek movies in perfect order of Dan's preference, even though he's never told you. And then for you, it's like, what's John's favorite movie that he's mentioned on that episode where you guys did your top 5 together?
And I still managed to get it wrong.
Thankfully. But
Yeah. Anyway, listen back. I'm sure all the listeners, I'm surprised they didn't write in and correct it. I'm pretty shocked, but everyone knows out there that you got the phantom point.
Maybe you're the one who's incorrect. I don't know. I'll have to listen back to it.
Yeah, listen back, man. I'm telling you. Keep score by yourself.
And I think I forgot to tell Taryn that you said that there was a phantom point because I saw it in the show notes here. I don't know. I'll have to have a look. I'll have to let her know.
Well, fair enough.
So this is the second century of the ScruffCast. We want to, move on to the next phase of the show while, keeping all the things that are good from the, the first century. And I can imagine listeners are hearing this and they're thinking like, ooh, they're about to, reveal some cool news. No, we have nothing. There's nothing.
No,
like that.
We actually because this is like we talked about so many times, we didn't think we'd get here, right? We didn't think we'd be at 101 episodes.
Yeah.
So, well, we don't know what the hell we're doing now. We had somewhat of a plan for the first 5. That was it.
Yeah, we're flying by the seat of our pants.
Yeah. No idea what we've been doing.
No. Although I do have a little something that, I don't know. It's exciting for us, I guess. Maybe not for the listeners. But, part of celebrating reaching the second phase of the ScruffCast, I went out and I set up ScruffCast.com and thescruffcast.com.
Damn. You know what? I saw this in the show notes, and I wasn't sure what it was even about. I didn't even know about this.
Yep, it was just one night last week, like Thursday night, Friday night. I was like, you know what? It's time for the second phase. Let's get spicy. Let's get downright freaky. So went online. I registered the domain names. So ScruffCast Media Corp is now, well, us anyway, is now the proud owner of ScruffCast.com and thescruffcast.com. So you can go to either one. I spent the extra $12 to register the other domain to make it easy for you listeners out there.
It costs us money? It costs you money?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Damn. It's not like a monthly thing, right? Like it's just a one-time fee.
No, it's not a one-time fee. It's a yearly fee.
Yearly?
Yeah.
So $24 a year we got to pay for this?
Yep.
Oh, dude, we have a year to start getting ads. We have 1 year.
So right now, if you click on either of those links, it just leads you to another website like plink.com, Plink, which I think stands for podcast link.
That would make sense.
Like plink, HQ, whatever, blah, blah, blah. But it's a site that lists for you all of the places you can find the podcast. Right. So it has links to the show there on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Spotify, Stitcher, all those places. Pocket Cast, which is a podcast app I use on Android. It's pretty good. And then it also has a listing of all the episodes. So if you guys are out there and you're like, oh, I want to find out about the ScruffCast, hopefully that'll help us show up in Google results, things like this.
Very
Longer
true.
term, I'd like to pull on my expertise as a software engineer, and I'll just build us a website of our own. Just something similar.
Maybe.
Essentially the same thing. Right?
Maybe
It'll
you can
just
make
have
us an
links
app
everywhere.
too one day. We can make our own game. The
Ah,
ScruffCast game.
Dude, that's the thing. We use the brand, right, for other products. Right? So I don't know, we make something and then it's like brought to you by ScruffCast, but it's like really just made by us.
The
Grow the brand.
ScruffCast stovetop cleaner.
Yeah, there you go. Right? It was like, oh damn, because dude, you need something to do while you're cleaning the stove. Listen to the ScruffCast.
Listen to the ScruffCast. Vim, the official cleaner of the ScruffCast.
Oh man, I'd take literally any sort of sponsorship opportunity.
Yeah,
I was looking into it from our podcast host. There's a set limit on the amount of downloads that you reach each month, which we do not reach yet.
Do you know Joe Rogan gets like 1 million downloads per episode?
Yeah, man, that's the big time.
Jeez, we're almost there. Don't get me wrong, but we're not at 1 million yet.
No, I mean he's been doing it for like 10 years
12
now.
years. Yeah.
More than that, yeah.
So we got some time.
Yeah. So, anyways, we got those websites set up. They just really link you to other places where the podcast is hosted. Which, if you guys are hearing this, you already listen to the podcast. So, thanks for listening. But
That's right.
now it's an easy thing for you to share with your friends.
Like, well, where can I get the ScruffCast? Dude, just go to ScruffCast.com.
Yeah, you can get it literally anywhere.
Yeah.
So there you go. When I have the time, well, not that I don't have the time. When I have the gumption, I'll put together, a little bit of a nicer looking website. Maybe I'll have our faces in the background or something, zooming around. Whoa, 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 whoa. Welcome to the ScruffCast experience.
I like this. I like the sound of this.
So that's how I spent my last week. But I also...
Well, go ahead. Yeah.
I had a follow-up to something we talked about a month ago. So kind of change the topic here. I don't know if you want to mention what you're going to say first.
No, you go ahead.
So about a month ago, we did our top 5 Netflix original series and movies and stuff like that. And you had Spencer Confidential on your list. I think it was number 5, right?
Which has just been ruthlessly bashed by Chris.
Yes.
Multiple emails.
Our buddy Chris emailed in and he tore the movie apart. And then you tore apart his tearing apart of your selection. So then he emailed in again. I think it's part of last week's
with his tail between his legs. Let's keep that in mind, okay?
But he said it was the most mediocre pick for a movie of all time. So last night, Terrence's like, let's watch a movie. I'm like, okay. But you got to pick because I've picked the last 3 movies in a row. All great choices, of course. I have excellent taste. And then sure enough, it leads into me picking a movie pretty much.
Okay.
And then we ended up watching this. And I watched it and I was like, okay, you know what? I think Chris's email had some good points. The gist of it was he said, it was good if you want to watch Mark Wahlberg punchify some people and stuff. But I had a couple of issues with the movie.
Dude, what?
I had a couple of issues with the movie. So
okay, hold on. But before you continue,
yes,
were you entertained?
I was entertained. Yes,
I rest my case. Number 5.
But number 5, this is the top 5. It's like a
Dude,
top.
I watched like 5 things ever, so like it automatically gets put on there.
I guess, but okay.
I don't even remember what this. I got to go back in my notes to find out.
Well, okay.
What
so
this was
we'll get into light spoilers here. Even though I read back the email Chris sent, which just spoiled the whole thing. Thankfully, I forgot all about the contents of that email because I watched the movie and I didn't know what was happening. But okay, the movie starts with the guy getting out of prison, Mark Wahlberg. Spencer.
Oh, you know what the worst part is? It's actually number 4 on my list.
It's not even 5. What did you have it above?
Jesus.
What would you have under it?
The Do-Over.
Okay, I've never seen the Do-Over.
If I had a Do-Over, I'd switch those two around.
Right. What was your honorable mention?
Shit, I just lost it. Hold on. It was the Shockingly Evil.
Oh, okay.
And Twisted or whatever, that one.
Okay. Well, I can't comment because I haven't seen that either. But anyways, it starts with Mark Wahlberg getting out of jail. But do we even know what's his first name? Spencer something? Or is his last name Spencer?
His name is whatever. It doesn't matter.
Anyways, so, old guy comes and picks him up. He lets Mark Wahlberg drive back. Okay, whatever. But then, like a scene or two later, Mark Wahlberg's just in the car driving around. I'm like, bruh, this guy's license wouldn't be renewed. He'd have to go renew it. He's been in jail for 5 years, and he wouldn't be insured.
Oh, dude. If come on, if you're nitpicking like that, we can nitpick every movie on the planet.
I know we could.
I'm going to watch Social Network, and I'm going to tear that movie apart. You just wait and see.
Oh, you could just try, but Aaron Sorkin's writing is flawless. That's why
Aaron Sorkin's writing. I don't even know who that is.
He was a guy who wrote
nobody. You know who wasn't? Mark Wahlberg. Continue.
Anyways, so I was like, okay. There was one other thing. It was a grievous error. He's trying to put together the pieces. Who did this crime? So he writes in, who killed this guy? With multiple question marks. And then I was like, Chris is right. Chris is correct. That stood out to me. I had to write that down. Your pet
peeve, the multiple question marks.
Maybe Chris was a big fan of this movie subconsciously because he also used multiple question marks in his email last week.
That is true.
Yeah.
So that's it? That's all you have to complain about?
Yeah, I had a couple nitpicks. There was another thing where he goes up to, some FBI agents sitting in a car, and then one of them Googles, like, in their FBI, or not Googles, but searches in the FBI database for some guy who was killed, and then Spencer, and then the partner, the guy typing is like, who's he? And it's like, bruh, how did you know to type Spencer in there? Or maybe it's just me being dumb. I don't know.
Yeah, I think that's probably more so what it is, but
hey, I don't claim to know everything. That was pretty much all I had to nitpick about with that movie.
That's pretty solid.
So to bring it up, yeah, you know what? It was fun enough. It was fun enough.
You know what? The movie is, that's exactly it. It's fun enough. And you know what? Like, I haven't watched very many Netflix originals, okay? It got on my list. I stand by it. I don't care. You know what I mean? I watched Extraction. That's a Netflix original. Boom, it goes on my list. So guess what? Spencer Confidential gets bumped down now.
Dude, we almost watched it. Well, not almost, but Taryn was like, oh, what was that movie that Dan was talking about? I said Extraction. She's like, oh, what's that? And I was like, oh, he's got to extract this kid from this place. It's like an action movie. And she went, and I was like, I knew you wouldn't want to watch it.
Literally, Spencer Confidential is also an action movie. Extraction is just better. You guys took the worst route out.
Dude, it wasn't me. If it was up to me, we would have watched. We would have watched Chris Hemsworth.
Dude, you got to watch Extraction. I'm gonna watch it again. Oh, another. I could do a top 5 Netflix stand-up specials. I could do that, no problem. You know.
I don't even know if I've seen.
I've seen many Netflix of those. Ones. Anyway, the newest Chris D'Elia one called No Pain is a must-watch. I watched it for the second time yesterday. Still laughed. Do you know how hard that is to have already heard a joke and then still laugh at the joke again?
Dude, I've listened back to episodes of our podcast, and one of us has said something, and then I've laughed listening back to it, and I was laughing on the original podcast recording. So it's like, damn, got me again. So truly, only the masters can pull it off.
Fair enough. Fair enough. But there was a few more exciting things that happened this weekend. John, was there not?
There was. So, the way you went.
Oh, I wasn't
thought
sure if you were going to
say-
lead into that there.
Oh no, I was going to say.
This isn't episode 101. It's just episode 1. It's kind of the vibe we're giving off right now.
We should rebrand.
Yeah.
Yeah, we got to be honest with the listeners. There wasn't much in the notes. I think we've already exhausted them all.
We're not going to lie to you guys. If you guys are waiting for the top 5 at the end, we don't got it. It's just we don't have a top 5.
They're when everybody's shutting off their podcast.
Yeah,
recording.
so if you're shutting off right now, we understand. Thanks for listening. Catch you next week.
ScruffCast@gmail.com.
ScruffCast@gmail.com. All right.
Yes, so we talked about it with Chris on episode 101. But
no, episode 100. Dude, this is 101.
This is 101. Oh, we're all over the place. We are all over the place today. All right, you just take it over, Dan. Take it over.
All right, so we're all excited about the golf courses opening up, and we did it. We went. We finally went golfing, and not only did we go once, we went twice. So we went out Friday night, me, John, Chris, and then our other jabroni friend, John.
Yeah, who doesn't listen.
Yeah, and the course was an absolute shit show. You know what? I'm going to call him out. Banty's Roost in Caledon, Ontario, or maybe
put
Brampton.
on blast.
Yeah, you know what? We'll put them on blast. You know what?
Yeah.
First off, that golf course is junk to begin with, okay? The people who run that course are losers. And that's that is the kindest thing I can say about them.
I can't disagree.
Everyone who works there sucks. Everyone who works there sucks. And they're all 70 plus. I think that's the biggest problem.
Yeah.
So, with the golf courses being open, there's rules. There's rules that are in place. You know what I mean? They don't want you picking up the ball from the cup. So there's all these kind of different things that have to happen, right? Riding in golf carts, you can't ride together unless you live together. It's all these different kind of things to kind of promote social distancing and this and that, right?
Makes total sense.
It does. So we get to the golf course on Friday evening. Well, sure enough, they first off don't have enough carts for anyone. So we get there. There's no pull carts, like something you can just strap your bag onto and pull it. There's no power carts, the ones you actually ride. There's none of that. So we said, screw it, we're going to carry our bags. So the guy says to Chris, he says, if you're out on the course, you may find a stray golf cart out there. You guys can take it. That's the kind of like running of a course we're talking about right now. Okay, there may be a stray cart out there. Like, it's like we're going hunting, and it's like, oh yeah, you might find a few gazelles out there. You can peg them off if you'd like to. So sure enough, 3 holes in, we do find a spare cart. So John uses it.
Yes, and I must say, no wonder this cart was left behind. It was the most rickety, shitty cart I've ever seen. I don't even know if this belonged to the course or somebody had this, but it was just left behind after 3 holes. But it wasn't actually on the 3rd hole. It was on like an adjacent hole, so I'm not sure which number it was, but it was left behind. So normally a pull cart, like a golf pull cart for the listeners who might be unfamiliar, has 2 wheels. Some of the fancy ones have 3 wheels, a handle at the top, and it's kind of on an incline. You put your bag on it and you strap it in. For whatever reason, this cart had no strap. It had like half of a strap and then like a bunch of zip ties looped together. So it's like, okay, this will do. But that's not the part that was janky. It had these rusted out, squeaky ass wheels that look like the type of thing you'd see on a wagon in the Old West. Somebody rolls into town, jumps off and tries to sell you some tonics from back in the day. That's what these wheels look like. Okay. And it's like,
he sounded like a goose. It was like,
yeah, it sounded like we were being chased by a goose the whole time. But it was easier than carrying the bag. So,
yeah. And okay. So first off, so we get up to the guy says, okay, because there's people there waiting for carts for other people to come back off the course and then we're going to take those carts. So he says, okay, if you guys aren't taking a cart, just go ahead, go to the tee and tee off. So as we're walking up, this group of old guys, okay, they're not like super old. They're they're like in their 50s, maybe 60s, and around there.
Yeah, I would say so.
They're in around that age. So they kind of go over to us like, hey, if we get a cart, we're up next. And we're kind of like, yeah, okay, whatever. So sure enough, they did not get their carts. So we teed off. So we get up to the 2nd hole, and there's people still kind of there. So we got to wait for them to go and whatever, right? So as we're waiting, those old guys, they ended up coming behind us, and they come up as we're waiting. So they say, oh, we're actually with that group ahead of you. Can we just go with them? So we say, yeah, sure, whatever. Like, it doesn't really matter. We're all going to kind of having to wait anyway. Sure enough, these old bastards took their sweet time going through the course. We started at 4:40 and we couldn't get it in because the sun went down with like 3 or 4 holes left. We waited like 10, 15, 20 minutes on each hole for these old bastards. I'm like, this is the worst part about golf is like, you know what I mean, John? It's like a game of etiquette, right?
Yeah.
There's like all these different, like, golf is like, it's so like, I don't even know. I don't know how, like,
It requires common sense.
well, yeah, for sure. But it's like, it's a very like, like snobby sport. It
I
can be,
guess.
right?
Like there's
all these
unwritten
kind of
rules.
like, there's a ton of unwritten rules, right?
Yeah.
And I find the guys in that age group are the absolute worst because they just like do whatever the hell they want to do and they don't follow any of those rules. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Generally, if you're going real slow, you let the people behind you pass, right? You kind of acknowledge, you know what, we're going real slow. The people are right up us. Let's just let them pass us. You do that. That's just a normal thing that happens, right? It was clear ahead of these guys. Nobody for miles, for holes and holes. And they didn't let us pass. And we just waited and waited and waited and waited. And dude, that's the worst age group of,
I would
golf.
almost say, though, that's sort of the primary demographic of the ScruffCast that the listener base we're aware of.
Yeah, it is. I just alienated a lot of our
Yeah.
people. There may not be an episode 102, but
No.
whatever. I stand by that comment. And you know what? I know, like, I know my dad would agree with me when I say this. I'm
Oh,
pretty
yeah.
sure he would.
Yeah, he would.
He does not fall into that category. He falls into that age range, but he does not fall into that category though. His etiquette is
He's not one of those
on par.
Shall we call them jabronis?
They jabronis
If we're still doing jabroni of the week, those guys would be jabroni of the week.
for sure. Now, moral of the story is we still had a goddamn blast because we were out there.
Oh,
you know?
yeah, of course.
Just enjoying the nice, beautiful evening. Chris decided to wear pants like a psycho. He was pants guy for the round.
Yeah.
That was fun. Yeah, it was just nice to be out there, That's really what it was all about.
I mean, well, the listeners know how eager we were based on the when we talked about top 5 businesses we would open after the quarantine or top 5 things we were looking forward to doing. So thankfully, the government had our back, and they're like, "No, no problem, homie. We'll open it up."
Yeah.
And they
Luckily, Doug Ford listens to the podcast.
He does. Shout out to
Shout out, Mr.
one of our
Ford.
oldest listeners.
Yeah. Now, and then we also went on Saturday too. Went golfing again on Saturday.
We did double dip,
We did a little double dipping.
and that was a much smoother experience.
Significantly better. Yeah. The course was in much better shape. Oh, and there's a garbage Banty's Roost. Banty's Poops. That's what I'm going to start calling it from now on.
Oh, spicy. Hashtag Banty's Poops. Get that trending.
Get it trending. They had pool noodles in the holes. So they just cut pool noodles and shoved them in the holes. And that was like to prevent you from like, having to go and pick up your ball. While this other course we went to had like a properly made thing called the pin caddy, where you can actually lift up this little lever with your putter and whoop, your ball pops out of the hole.
A genius invention.
Yeah. Much more professional.
Yes, definitely. I was reading that it was 2 guys who invented this product, which was to prevent people from having to bend down to pick up the ball. Just, because people are lazy, myself included. And because they changed the official rules, I believe last year, so that you were now allowed to putt with the flag stick still in. You could putt in the hole. You could still putt the ball in. Where before you weren't allowed, the flag stick had to be removed. So with the new rule, these guys came up with this idea, people can keep the flag stick in there. They'll never have to reach down to pick up the ball. And then since this pandemic happened, right, that's sort of one of the primary contact points of the hole, right? Everybody's going to be, put the ball in, reach down, pick it up, right? So there's going to be a lot of contact, sort of cross-contamination. That's one of the spots.
Mm-hmm.
So everybody started buying these things up. So now these guys' business had just exploded.
Good
for them.
It's a great idea. As far as I'm concerned, I never need to bend down and pick up my ball again from the hole.
No.
These are fantastic. They should just keep them in even after this is done.
Like if I was rich, like when the podcast takes off and we get some sponsorships, and they hadn't invented this, I feel like there's a number where I have enough where I'm just like, I'll just leave the ball in the hole. It's not worth my time and money to pick it up. Just leave the ball behind for the next guy,
Yeah, seriously.
Like you feel a little charitable leaving it for the next guy, but then you're also just like, You too
Oh
rich to
my
care.
God. I just thought of a fantastic idea.
Let's hear it.
Okay. So Chris, the guest host, Chris,
Yes.
he actually got us golf balls made last year with the farmers market,
The
the
boutique.
boutique grocery store we work at. Well, he doesn't work there anymore, but he did. But he got the logo actually printed on these balls. It's a company called Vice. Dude, we can get the ScruffCast logo printed on the balls.
Dude, that is a good idea. I'm going to write that down in the notes.
I'm going on the interweb right now.
See, you know what I'd like? If the ScruffCast got big enough that we could have like, the ScruffCast charity golf tournament, right? That's like
Yeah.
a big time goal. That'd be nice.
Dude, I know. Anything just golf related. That's it.
Yeah, did you see that they had a little charity golf thing with Tiger Woods and Phil Mickelson and Tom Brady?
Yeah, I did.
He split his pants.
I heard about that. I unfortunately didn't get a chance to watch it, although I wish I did.
I didn't even know what was happening until I just saw on Twitter. People talking
really?
about he
Yeah,
split his
I heard
pants.
about it a few weeks ago.
Yeah, that was pretty much it. Have you ever split your pants?
Yeah, it happens often at work, actually. Now, like not right down the ass like he did, but I've like ripped the pocket, like the pocket's gotten caught on something and torn it, like right in the crotch area. That's where I do the most damage. That's where all the that's where all the farts leak to. You know,
Dude, I'm just gonna take
where's
that
the denim quicker?
the little clip of right in the crotch area, and that's what I'm gonna put on Twitter or Instagram.
All right, I like it.
Yeah, if you guys are out there following us on Twitter at ScruffCast and Instagram at the ScruffCast, you'll see, we're starting to put clips out there on the social media for you guys, making it easy to, get a little sneak peek of the podcast, share with your buddies, tag them, say, hey, these are the guys I was talking about with the best podcast ever. I don't know. I was going to say the most lit podcast, but then it sounded like I was trying to reach the younger demographic.
This hip new podcast.
Yeah. So I've never split my pants, right down the ass crack either, but I think the only time I can recall was I remember I had picked up Taryn and her grandmother. I think we were going to go somewhere for dinner, but I had to stop at my house to run inside to get something. And we had an automatic garage door opener, but it had the sensor along the front that if something tripped the sensor, the garage door would go back up. So I went inside the house, and then you have to hit the button to close the garage. Otherwise, I would have to walk out of the garage and then enter the code in the pin pad, and that would close the garage. I didn't want to do that, right? Because I'm lazy. So I hit the button to close the garage, starts closing, and I'm inside the garage, so I got to run out. But I have to sort of step over the little sight line of the sensor. Otherwise, the garage will go back up on me, right? I'm going to have to go and put the pin code in, which I tried to avoid. So I had to run to try to get out of the garage, while at the same time lift up my leg to go over the little sensor line. And I was wearing a pair of jeans. And I don't know, I'm not an athlete, right?
That is for sure.
I somehow stumbled and tripped, and I fell and I just totally ripped the crotch of my jeans right open, just to the side of one of the, where the zipper is, right on my thigh. But I didn't notice, right? So I got up and I was like, oh man, okay. Get in the car, Terrence's like, are you okay? And then I sit down and I'm like, man. So then I had to get up and then go hit the pin code to bring the garage up and go change my pants anyway.
Yeah,
so that's the only time.
I've dummied a few pairs of jeans at work. There was one time it was so bad I actually had to drive to the store to buy another pair during work. It's pretty bad. It's not fun.
I remember as a kid in, I want to say, the 5th grade. Yeah, it was either 4th or 5th grade because we were in portables.
Oh, dude, portables. But
dude, just thinking about
you know what's
that.
ridiculous? It's funny. Okay, so kind of where Anna's parents live, this area we have to drive through is relatively new. So there's a bunch of new schools within there, maybe 5 years old. So they have the schools there, and then there's 10 portables. It's why wouldn't you just build a school big enough to begin with? It's 5 years later, you still need 10 portables? What's wrong with you?
So I don't know if there's listeners out there who don't know what portables are, but the whole concept is ridiculous. It's essentially how there's a home and then there's a trailer, right? Like a mobile home. It's like a mobile classroom. It's just built up on a little platform, little steps you go inside, and that's it. It's just a little bunch of shacks, right? Fancy looking, well, not even fancy, but covered with siding, shacks just in between the the playground and like the field.
The only thing they were good for was playing foot hockey against the bottom of them. You know, they made good nets.
Yeah, it's kind of ridiculous. I remember one time, I don't know if we ever told the story on the podcast. We had this really windy day, and the thing was, the portables had those like heavy doors, right? With like sort of I don't even know what you call them, but that extra metal plate that goes across like the bolt.
Yes. Yeah.
Turns for the door. Was these heavy doors, and it's so heavy, and with there's doors on both sides of the portable.
I know this
because I guess maybe it's like a fire hazard or something. So the teacher says like, "Oh, don't open the door on the one side because of the wind, right? It's going to pick up the door and it's going to become really hard to close, right?" So our friend, I think we've mentioned him on here before a couple times, but our friend Brinkus, you guys may remember him from when me and him put a shit ton of political signs on one person's lawn.
There's been a few different stories about him, and we keep saying we got to get him on here.
Yeah, he's come up. So he disregards whatever the teacher says.
As he usually did, yeah.
Gets up and, as he usually did, gets up and proceeds to just open the door to leave. And it's like, a whole bunch of winds just swings the door way open, and it like smacks against the like the little wooden stairs, and he's like freaking out, like, oh my god, and he's got like both hands on the doorknob trying to pull it closed, right? And the teacher, of course, is trying to yell at him, and he's like freaking out, like, holy shit, it's not closing, blah blah blah. And I remember we were just dying laughing because, like, well, that's why the teacher said
this is the exact reason right here.
Yeah, but I do remember in the 6th grade, halfway through the 6th grade, we got to do the great move. We moved from portables into the school because they actually built a new wing of the school.
Oh, yeah, I was already in that school.
Yeah, no, I was stuck in the dusty ass portables.
I think I had a portable once.
Yeah, do you remember?
Or twice, I don't know.
They built an extra extension.
Yeah, I do remember this. Yeah.
They made the school bigger. So then we had the great moving day, so we all got to like pick up the stuff out of our desks and put them in garbage bags and then move. That was awesome because like, yeah, it's going to kill,
Yeah, that was the whole thing. It's almost like a waste of a day.
That's the sort of stuff you live for. Where now the kids are just like, you're just out of school for 6 months. No big deal. And you all pass.
I remember having a split class. I think it was grade 5. We were in a portable. And our teacher ended up being like a pedophile or something like that. And he got fired. Mr. Morris, that was his name. Just to throw him on blast too. He's probably dead by now. He was like 70 at the time. He's definitely dead by now.
Oh, dude, because that was a long time ago, like 15
years. It was so annoying too.
Ago?
He was like deaf in one ear. So it's like you could only talk to him from one side of the desk. So you have to like, you'd be talking to him and he just like do a little the finger thing. Like, you have to walk over to the other side of the desk, be like, can I use the bathroom, please?
Maybe he just wanted to hear you say it again.
Yeah.
My grade 10 science teacher had a lazy eye, or it was almost like she would look down at her paper on her desk and the other eye would be looking up at you. So you'd never know. And then she was pregnant and a kid in the class had chicken pox. And so she's like, well, I'm not fucking with this. So then she was just gone.
Dude, that's crazy.
Dude, did I ever tell the story about my brother said that an old lady at his school got hit with a soccer ball? I think I might have told
I forget though. Tell again.
So we had a similar story because there was this kid at our school, Alex, and he kicked a soccer ball, and I remember smoked his teacher in the head, and the teacher started crying.
What a bitch.
Right? So I know. I don't even remember the teacher's name. So I was telling my brother the story, and he was saying that him and his friends, were they playing soccer or were they playing football? I don't remember. But there's this teacher, and she got hit right in the side, and she fell and broke her hip or something like that. And I said, oh. And my brother said she was older. I said, oh, like, how long was she gone for? Did she come back? He said, oh, she never came back, John. She was so old. I was like, oh. Maybe they killed this
poor
teacher.
Old lady.
Right? This poor old lady, yeah.
The soccer ball took her down.
I originally brought up the story about the portables because I was saying I was lining up outside the portable. I have a distinct memory. I had these, not track pants, but like kids would never wear these nowadays. So thanks a lot, Mom. But it's like the type of pants where they unzip so you can make shorts out of them.
Yeah. Oh, everybody had a pair of those. I know a guy who still wears those.
Really?
I'm not kidding. Play hockey with them.
Oh, wow.
It's not a good look, especially for an adult in their 30s.
And in 2020, because I remember as a kid, right? You unzip them and then you could put the other things over your arms, and it's like,
yeah, but it's also perfect for like normal May. Right now there's like a bit of a heat wave coming through, but like because it's like a little cooler in the morning, but then by the afternoon it's hot. So the parents like, I don't gotta worry about giving him a pair of shorts to change into. He just unzips his pants and he's ready to go.
That's another good clip.
That's another good clip right there. Yeah, boy.
So, anyways, I distinctly remember I was standing in line, and I was a bit of a chunky kid, right? We all went through that chunky
Some of
phase,
us are still
right?
there.
Yeah, some of us still are. And I distinctly remember, the button flew off of my pants, dude. It flew off my pants like the stereotypical fat thing you see. And I had this panic because like I had no button. I could only zip up my pants. So then I had to worry about my pants falling apart the
Oh
rest
man,
of the
it's
day.
brutal. Oh man, stuff like that when you're a kid just like absolutely like crushed you. You're like, oh no, right? Dude, I got a horrible story. So I think we were like maybe grade 1 or 2 or something like that, right? And so I went to school and I had this massive sweater on. It was a Club Monaco sweater. I still even remember. Probably wasn't even mine. It was
Ooh.
probably hand me down from my sister. Because the thing was like way too big for me, right? So I'm like 6. So I go to take a pee at the urinal, right? So I'm like holding up my sweater with my chin, like the old like you hold your shirt up with your chin. And so I'm doing it because back then you needed 2 hands because you were young. You didn't have the coordination like you do now, right? So I'm holding up my chin, and sure enough, it slips from my chin, and I piss all over my shirt. And I'm like, oh shit! Oh no, what am I gonna do? So like, whatever. I finish peeing and I run to the sink, right? And I like pour all this water on it, like try to like wipe it off. I don't know why. I thought that was gonna help. I kind of stood under like the hand dryer. Stood under the hand dryer for a bit. Obviously, I would have needed to be there for the next 30 minutes for it to dry, which I couldn't do. So I was like, oh God, I gotta go back to class. Okay, I'll just tell everybody I spilled water on myself when I was washing my hands. So I get back to class, and of course, people, like all the kids are like, what the hell? Did you pee on yourself? And I was like, no, I just splashed water on myself. That was it. And dude, they bought it. That's the funniest part. Like, kids
like,
are
dumb.
They bought it. I fooled them all.
Do you remember like the type of water, like I was gonna say water fountains, like the sinks that they had in the bathrooms? It was like this. Yeah, foot pedals, like this weird giant pedestal.
I thought that's good for the COVID times. You just use the foot pedal to get the water going.
That is true.
You're not touching anything.
Well, I guess now everything's sensor based.
Oh, that's true too. Yeah, back then it was a lot more mechanical.
Yeah, stepping on the pedal. Don't want kids to waste the water.
There's just some horrible times, eh? Like when you're that young and trying to navigate through school.
It's stressful, right? Like those little things. And for some reason, kids always think that they can get away with one.
I know. But like, do you remember like how it was always like you were always afraid of getting in trouble? You know what I mean? Like someone would tell on you. You're like, no, don't tell on me. Don't do it. No. I remember there was this kid, Rocco, who I was like friends with. I was good friends with him. And so somebody pulled this joke on me, right? So someone says to me like, oh, do you like cake? I was like, yeah, I love cake. And they're like, haha, cake means butt. We were like 8, right? So I was like, oh no, they got me. So I was like, all right, whatever. I'm going to pull it on Rocco now. So I'm like, hey, Rocco. He's like, yeah. I'm like, do you like cake? He's like, yeah, I love cake. I had cake last night. I was like, haha, you like butts. And he's like, I'm telling on you. I was like, no, Rocco, no, don't. It's just so funny. Like,
Rocco had no time for your bullshit.
No, Rocco had no time. He was too busy eating cannolis.
Dude, kids do these stupid things. Like, I remember that same kid, Alex. I have a vivid memory of him. I don't know. And it's like, how do people discover these things? He would go around and be like, oh, do you like chocolate ice cream? But he'd say it really quickly because he was actually saying chocolate ass cream.
Oh, my God.
Do you like chocolate ice cream? And he'd be like, yeah. And he'd be like, oh, you like chocolate ass cream. And he'd be like, that's not what I meant. I thought you were talking about ice cream.
Dude, him and Brink is still the greatest rivalry I've ever seen in my life. Dude, it's like better than Tiger versus Phil Mickelson. It's better than, I don't know. Mayweather and Pacquiao. Yeah, I don't know. The greatest rivalry I've ever seen. The 2 Polish kids.
That's like, I remember this girl in our class, Vicky. We'll just put her name out there. Oh, people are going to track us down. So,
well, you're trying to grow the show now, apparently. So they might.
We're trying to grow the show. So if you're out there, email in. Yeah. What have you been up to,
Vicky? How's it going?
So I remember she brought in, and this goes to show how the times have changed. She brought into school printed a piece of paper, right, of like an image from the internet, and it was. Yeah, dude.
Yeah, no, I know. It's just funny. Like
she had a couple of them, and it was like this girl, right? I don't know, from the internet, sitting in her chair at her computer, whatever, probably with one of those primitive webcams, right?
Yeah.
And she's like, "Oh, do you think this girl's cute?" Right? It's this grainy ass picture, right? And how are you supposed to tell this person looks like a girl? Right? They got their makeup and their hair all done, right? Oh yeah, whatever. You think this girl's hot? Blah blah blah. And then she'd be like, oh yeah, well it's actually a guy dressed as a girl, and show you the other picture of the before. It's like, how am I supposed to know based off this printed picture? How? Like, how the hell am I going to know this? Do you remember this?
No, I actually don't remember that.
No, I remember that one. Oh man, those were the days.
No, weren't they ever?
Elementary school. I don't went downhill. I remember instead of creating the field, like for track and field, they just got the big mower out there and they mowed a track
Into the grass.
in the grass.
They wait till the grass got long and then just mowed it.
Yeah,
Brutal. Good times.
dude. And now it also strikes me. Remember, there was a soccer field like on the field.
Yeah.
Like, why was it so far at the back?
Oh my god, dude, it took
They
you.
put it as far away as possible.
Yeah. Okay. Well, there's obviously a bunch of people listening to this who went to our elementary school, but for those who didn't, our field was huge, like massive. Our whole like school grounds area. It was like a 5-minute run out to that soccer field. You had 5 minutes to play and then 5 minutes to run back. The recess is
Yeah,
over.
because you only had a 15-minute break.
Yeah, it was brutal. And there was like a hierarchy. You know what I mean? It's like you couldn't get on the soccer field till it was like grade 7 or 8. You just couldn't get out there, because the grade 7s and 8s held down the soccer field.
Yeah,
You weren't really allowed out there. Like the teachers didn't care. Like it wasn't them telling you couldn't go. It was just like, you understood your place. That was it.
yeah. Then they revolted by kicking the soccer ball at the teacher's head.
Boom. Take that.
I remember. So we had a basketball court as well.
Mm-hmm.
But I remember that after a while, they put basketball nets along the outside of the school, like on the side of the building itself.
Yeah.
Right? Just a backboard and then a rim. I doubt we even had net, like actual netting. I don't think so.
No, probably not.
And, there's nowhere behind the net, right? It's like literally up against the wall. I remember I don't know if you remember this, Dan. They had to make an announcement at the school telling people not to do layups because kids are trying to do layups into the net. And now I'm thinking, like, how low were these nets? Or like, how could these kids do layups? Because, we were all kids. We were small.
Yeah.
Of people not to do layups or to be careful because after running up and trying to lay up the ball, kids were running into the wall. Do you remember
Yeah,
this?
because they were right up against brick walls. Yeah, and there was like windows there too, like classroom windows all around there.
But I remember it was an announcement that they had to make, like, careful because you might run into the wall.
I don't remember that. That's funny.
Oh, Jesus. I remember this.
Oh, dude, I got a funny story from high school actually, where there was this like, I may have told the story. I don't know. So there was this like, just this little kid. I don't know why I call him a little kid. He was like this, like just like short, like funny guy, right? And so we're sitting in class, right? We're on like ground level, and the window's open. It's like, springish, right? So he like the teacher's like teaching him. The teacher's literally on like the whiteboard teaching and stuff like that, right? And he's whatever. So his kid's kind of like, the teacher kind of has his back to him a little bit as he's talking to the class. So the kid runs over to the window and climbs out and like runs around the building, comes back in through the door. Right? The teacher's like, oh, like, were you in the bathroom? He's like, oh, yeah, I was just in the bathroom. He's like, oh, okay, whatever, right? So he continues teaching. So the kid gets up and does it again. Fucking runs out. I was dying. It was like one of the funniest things. Still to this day, I find it hilarious, like what he did. And then he runs out and comes back again. And then finally the teacher was like, okay, what the hell are you doing? Like, oh, it's so funny.
That was pretty funny. Reminds me of like people stop at a red light and then the car's in park. They get out, run around the car and get back in.
It's just so stupid. Like,
yeah. But when you're a kid, you just eat that shit up.
Yeah, I hear you, man.
Whoa, that's so savage. Look at what this guy did.
Yeah, now they got all those words. Did we have any like stupid slang we said when we were kids? I feel like all those like slang words are really big now. Did we have anything like that?
Not in elementary school.
No, I don't think we did. I feel like, it was like the internet, like social media and stuff. That's
true,
what brought it along.
Yeah, I remember when I was in high school, it's when people started calling things like, oh man, that's the bomb. As in, like, that's cool.
Yeah, that's bomb.
I guess when we were kids saying, like, oh, that's sick, as in cool. That was a thing, right?
Yeah, I guess. I feel like that was more
I don't remember.
universal. I don't know.
I guess.
I still say that.
Yeah. We didn't have, yeah, me too. We didn't have any, like, sort of local specific slang.
No, we didn't.
Dude, kids are so dumb. Do you remember we used to climb onto the top of the school?
Yeah, that was cool, though.
Like, well, at least we thought it was cool, but there was no way to get onto the top of the school. So what we would do is there was like this, first off, it was like this shed, but it was like made of concrete.
Yeah,
right?
it was like a storage shed, I guess.
Concrete shed, right? Like it probably as thick as like a median on the highway.
Yeah, it was big. It was like a bomb shelter.
So you'd have to climb onto that. And then, oh, dude, that reminds me of another story. You have to climb onto that. So we would like set up our bicycles right? Our bike. Somebody would hold it. The other person would climb on the bike to climb up there and then pass up the bike. And then we'd just go up there and be like, yeah, look at us.
Look at us standing up on the school.
Just doing nothing. But did we ever tell the story about what they used to do during thunderstorms a couple of years? Did we ever talk about this on the podcast?
I don't know. What was it?
So for some reason, when there was thunderstorms, thunder would strike a part of the school and it would set off the fire alarm.
Yes.
Right? This happened a couple times.
Yes.
And by law, we have to evacuate, the school's got to get the...
If the fire alarm
kids
goes
to
off,
evacuate,
that's it.
right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So, it's a thunderstorm. We don't want to go out there. I think we did tell the story.
Yeah.
But it's been 100 episodes, so...
Let's tell it again.
You guys can hear it again. And they would make us... I remember one specific time. There's this crazy hippie teacher with curly hair. She was chunky. That's all I remember. I don't know her name.
Okay.
And they made us they wanted us to go and sit outside in the field, with our legs crossed, and just sit out there.
Yeah.
During the thunderstorm.
Yes, I remember this.
And I was like, no way. And I was one of the kids who was just a little bitch, freaking out, you can't get me out there. You can't get me out there.
Well, at the same time, at least you had the right mind to do that.
Yeah, dude.
What were they thinking?
Bizarre. I don't know. I don't know what they're thinking.
Assess the situation. Okay, obviously the school is not on fire. So just stand by the door here, just wait the rain out.
Yeah, we're going to get wet. We're afraid of thunder. Going to get struck by lightning. No bueno, man.
There's nothing I'd hate more than to be an elementary school teacher. There was just nothing I would hate more. I couldn't handle it.
I can't imagine. We made our grade 6 teacher cry.
Yeah.
She went to the washroom and just cried.
It wasn't directly us, but
Well, I don't know. She reached her limit. I don't know. Maybe she was having problems outside of
for
school.
sure. She was having some personal issues. Because whatever it wasn't even that bad. It was just somebody was talking. That was it. That was literally, and she just lost it. Started crying at her desk, and then left. And then we didn't see her for a while. Wasn't there? But didn't we have a supply for a long time? We took a leave of absence or something like that. Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. Maybe the stress just built up. I can imagine.
I feel it. Yeah.
Dude, I wonder that sort of stuff we couldn't get away with in school nowadays. I told a story about on the podcast where my brother's friend wrote on another kid's paper. The other kid's name was Chase. He wrote, "Chase is gay." And the kid got suspended for 3 days.
Wild.
Suspended.
Dude, but what if Chase was gay? He's just spitting truths,
Maybe.
What if Chase was no, I am gay. He's right.
Yeah.
What if someone put
Chase
is straight? Well, that's okay.
I wonder what it is. Is it because he used the word gay? If he said Chase is a shithead.
Dude, I bet you that'd be fine. They'd probably be hey, you can't say that, and that'd be it.
Hey, Jeremy, watch the language.
Chase can suck my farts.
There's no sucking farts in this school. Chase, get back to your desk. Jeremy, keep your farts to yourself. Yeah, I wonder what I want to be like. Because all the kids have cell phones and stuff now, but they don't really let them bring them to school, but there's no way to stop it.
Yeah, it isn't stoppable. That's what because at work, obviously we got the part-time kids that are a lot younger. Some of them are in high school right now. And I was man, when I was in high school, we didn't even have data.
Dude, you used to pay. You used to pay for text messages.
Yeah, nobody had data on their phones. Nobody was scrolling through Facebook and Twitter. I don't even know if Twitter was around at that point. Nobody was scrolling through that stuff in class. No, nobody was filming on Snapchat, Simpler times. I don't know how they do it now,
I know. You just get home, you log on to MSN. Oh, who wants to talk?
What's up? Check out this cool song I'm listening to. You remember that? You try to pick the coolest song you could ever think of to put there, even if you didn't like it.
Or you take the little song lyrics with a couple music emojis.
Oh,
and
yeah.
Put it as your little status.
Yeah, I guess status. That's what it would be called.
It'd be stupid shit "can't live without you" or dumb stuff like that. Be oh, maybe the person that I want to see this will see this, and they'll be wow, exactly. Maybe he's talking about me, and I can't live without him either. Why don't I tell him, and then we can just hang out? It's just stupid stuff. Oh,
dude, it's cringy thinking about it now. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but dude, those were the good old days, man.
I love there would be the odd person that would be they go on MSN. And they'd sign on, right? And then they change it. Their stats would be I'm pissed off right now. Don't talk to me. It's well, why you on MSN then?
And you know what? People would sign go offline and online. So it was like, ba-ding, it would pop back
Ba-ding,
up.
ba-ding, ba-ding, ba-ding. Oh, yeah. Brutal, man.
I'm pissed off. Don't talk to me. Or yeah, just passive aggressive. See, nowadays people just subtweet like, "Wow, if you're really that kind of person that goes out for lunch and doesn't offer to split the bill, then you can eat a dick." Right?
Yeah.
But back then it'd be like, I don't know. That's how you get your passive aggressiveness out.
Yeah,
right?
you just sign in and out on MSN with whatever message
Yeah.
you want.
Oh, those are the days. Those are the days. Because man, it's just different times. Like I've tried to explain to my brother before. Like back in the day, we used to have to go, call on people. I'm gonna go call on Dan, which meant getting my fat ass on my bike and biking to your house,
And ringing
ringing
the doorbell.
and hoping, oh, is Dan here? No, he's not here. And then, like I'd have to wait there. Or
And
think,
and
oh, maybe he went up the street.
and sometimes it was the journey, right? Oh no, he went over to Matt's house. Okay, so then you go over to Matt's house. Oh no, they went over to Steve's house. Oh Jesus Christ, dude, you're riding your bike all over town
Yeah,
trying to find your friends.
it's amazing how I was so chunky having to do all that bike riding.
Yeah, it's funny though because like it's not like it was that long ago. It's not like we're 50 years old, right? Like,
No,
but it's like it's
no, we're
long
not that
enough,
old.
and like things have come far enough that stuff doesn't happen anymore.
Yeah, it really changed in that time frame. Like I remember going to Canada's Wonderland by ourselves. We were like, what, 11?
Yeah, maybe
grade
12.
six,
Yeah,
11, 12.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll say 12. It was like 6th, 7th grade.
No cell phones, no nothing. It was like we get dropped off in the morning. It's like, okay, meet back here at 9:00. And then we would just meet back there at 9:00 at night.
I remember I had to call my dad, and we have no money as a kid, so I had to like call collect.
Right.
And I didn't know how it worked. And I'm like, oh shit, because it's like, please put in 25 cents or something. I can't even remember because I probably fucked up trying to call collect.
Yeah.
And the operator was on the line. I was like, because otherwise it's like there's no way to know.
Yeah.
I guess my children are dead.
That's what's crazy.
Surely they're there 40 kilometers away.
You think about that now. Like, oh my God, that's terrifying to think about that. Our parents just dropped off a group of 12-year-olds and said, okay, meet us back here in 12 hours. And then they just hoped we showed up.
Here's $15.
Yeah,
and buy
seriously.
yourself a foot-long hot dog and survive.
Yeah.
And we would just leave and walk to the mall. Like, I don't know how far, but a bit of a walk
Yeah.
anyway. Just explore.
Yeah. And they would just hope we showed up at the end of the night. And like, that was it. What a different world.
And we were stupid too. I remember one time we were walking to that mall, right? Von Mills Mall up the street from Wonderland.
Yeah.
And once again, our good buddy Brinkus, he decides like, oh, wouldn't it be a good idea if we just started giving the finger to cars that are driving by?
Yeah, that's something he would do for sure.
Right? So then, were you not there this time, Dan?
I don't think I was, no.
So he starts giving the finger to cars driving by. And then a guy pulls over and gets out of his car, right? And of course, we're shitting bricks, right? We're like, oh, what the hell? 'Cause, dude, this is like a 35, 40-year-old man. And we're like 12 years old. And he goes, oh, you think that's funny? You think that's funny? He goes, no, I was waving. And look like, and, he tries to, put the finger up and be like, I'm waving. Look.
Yeah.
And then, I don't know, the guy yelled at us a little bit. Got back in his car.
Also, that guy's a loser, though,
Yeah. That guy could have literally just like picked him up and put him in his car and drove away. Then what would we do? We have no cell phones. We'd be like, oh, shit.
Oh, God. That's it. Brinkus is gone now.
Yeah, what would we do? We'd have to walk all the way to the mall and like go to like Orange Julius and be like, can we borrow your phone? Our friend got stolen. Right? And like how are we supposed to know? Like, oh, it was a beige car that drove away. Like, we don't know the license plate or anything.
Oh, my God.
That was the wild, wild west.
It really feels like it.
Now, something like that happens. A parent just logs in and it's like, find my iPhone. It's like, oh, I can see exactly where they are.
Yeah.
Or, damn, the kid could be like in the car, like streaming on Instagram Live.
Yeah.
Look at this ugly fuck who stole me.
I'm in the trunk of this guy's car because I gave him the finger.
Yeah.
Oh, Jesus. That's hilarious. All right. How much time are we at here, John?
I have no idea. But I feel like we rounded up the podcast.
Dude, we're at like an hour. We're good. That's all. That's all
Yeah.
you guys say. That was probably more than you wanted, to be honest with you, but
Probably. It was fun for us.
it was a trip down memory lane.
Yeah, but we've got some ideas for, the second century of the ScruffCast, especially once things get back here in the studio.
That's the thing. Unfortunately, all these ideas require us to be back in the studio, so it's not really a whole lot we can do right now.
Although we were floating around ideas for new segments and stuff a little bit before this aired. So you never know. But the ScruffCast, what you get out is what you put in. So we need you guys to email us at scruffcast@gmail.com with, let us know, what do you like? What do you not like? What would you like to see more of? What would you like to see less of? Once I saw that Joe Rogan got that $100 million deal from Spotify for 3-year exclusivity, I was like, okay, it's time to grow the show. I want some of that Spotify money, baby.
Yep, that's right.
Because you guys can find us on Spotify as well. I think pretty much anywhere you can search, you can find the ScruffCast.
We're everywhere now.
Yeah.
Speaking of, I wonder if Anthony will listen to this episode like he claimed he would have. I wonder if he listened to episode 100.
Here's a little test. Anthony, if you've listened to this episode and you got this far, send me and Dan a text just with the word tomato. Then we're going to know.
Text right now, tomato, to us.
Dude, if it came in real time, ooh, it'd be spooky.
Oh, that'd be creepy. All right. I think that's it. Then we'll wrap it up. Yeah. So like Jon said earlier, you can go to scruffcast.com or thescruffcast.com. Tell your friends about the podcast because that's where we are now. And then that'll literally just take you to where you need to get our podcast.
Yeah, anywhere you'd like.
All right, perfect. I feel like we can definitely link our social medias onto there too at some point, right?
Yeah, that's true. I can do that when I build this out, a little website.
Cool.
Maybe I'll get around to that sometime. That'll be my summer project.
I like the sense of that.
Yeah.
All righty. I think that's it then. We'll wrap it up. That was episode 101 of the ScruffCast. Thanks for listening, everybody, and we'll catch you next week.
Got me like, oh, as I'm watching her go, all I'm thinking is, oh, damn, that bad thing. I can tell you're really good at distracting.
Right in the crotch area. That's where I do the most damage.